So Stuart, welcome to Sudbury.
Thank you, Don. Good to be here.
You've had quite a storied career in digital media, but the one question I really want to ask is, how did it come about you founding Expedia.ca?
It's kind of funny when I think about it now, because back in those days, online travel was not even anything that anybody knew about. I'd go to the stereotypical cocktail party, and people would say, "So what are you doing?" It's like, "Well, I'm working on this online travel thing." They looked at me like I had 10 heads. Like, what is that? Is that something to do with maps, or is like books to do with travel? It's like, no, you'll go there and you'll find your flight and your hotel, and you put your credit card number in, and you'll book your whole trip on the internet. Good luck with that. That's never going to happen. And now I speak at an event or whatnot, and I ask people if they've ever booked travel offline, and a few people put their hands up. And now it's just sort of the way that it was done. My background was in the travel category. I saw the opportunity, and when I had the chance to do it, I jumped at it.
Nice. So what's interesting is, given your background, you still have a strong mantra that suggests the online and social media marketing component of someone's broader marketing strategy is only one piece. Can you elaborate on the importance of having a kind of a broad marketing strategy and what that might entail?
I think that people are looking for social media or for something to be the silver bullet, right? If I only do this thing, then I'm going to be able to do whatever really well. It's going to be easier. And unfortunately, there is no silver bullet. Marketing to me is profitably solving a customer problem. A lot of people say marketing, and what they really mean is promotion, or what they really mean is advertising. But ultimately, marketing is about figuring out what somebody needs, figuring out how to bring it to them, make sure that they know about it, make sure that it's priced appropriately, that they actually buy it, and then that they tell people about it, and that they like it. And there is no one thing that's going to get all that done. And so you can't think about social media or even online marketing in general as the only thing that's going to drive your business.
Right.
It has to be a part of a broader sort of series of objectives,
right,
of which it is just one. There is no silver bullet. I wish there was.
So in the online realm specifically, if you were to sit down with an early stage entrepreneur and their question was, well, how do I know where my customers hang out online? How do you coach them to figure out where they should be spending their time and effort, specifically in the online realm?
Well, it depends what approach they want to take. And basically, if you're talking about specifically in the digital and sort of social space, or in the online world, it depends whether you want to sort of go to them or you want to bring them to you. And so if you're looking to go to them, typically there are either groups that are formed online in different sort of social media channels, be it LinkedIn or people that follow a specific topic, or that they're aficionados of a specific thing, and they're going to a specific site that spends a lot of time talking about that. In most categories, in most industries, in most professions, or sort of among certain enthusiasts, there are go-to places. And so there isn't an easy way to do it other than just sort of poking around and seeing where these people tend to be. It's research that you've got to get in and sort of start to spend some time. But a lot of times people are active in a specific business, or they're sort of getting started in that because they have some sort of a history. A lot of people already have some of those starting points just because they've done it themselves anyway.
Right, and so as you're describing, spending the time to figure out, where those customers are, it may suggest that for some businesses, having a Facebook strategy might not be the right strategy based on the fact that maybe their customers don't participate in that community or on that platform.
Right. So there isn't sort of a one-size-fits-all thing. You got to sort of step it up and basically say, what are you trying to do? And what you're trying to do is find a way to engage and interact with people that sort of demonstrating to them that you care about the things that they care about, and building profile and being helpful for them in that process. So it might be that Facebook is great. It might be that it's not. It might be that LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, or it could be, even that there are specific other sites, communities, or forums that are very popular with people in your specific area, where these people congregate, and that's where you want to be spending your time.
So I can imagine, as I hear you describe that, there must be some common mistakes that you see with maybe nascent entrepreneurial endeavors or even small to medium, maybe even large corporates, some common mistakes that they essentially do when thinking about and executing on their online and social media strategy. And can you share what one of those or a couple of those might be?
I think that there's sort of three big ones. The first one is that people just step back from it in total because they're afraid. They're afraid of getting it wrong. They're afraid of legal ramifications. They're afraid of, what if this all goes sideways on me? And so they just don't participate at all. They might sort of watch it, but they don't actively engage because they're afraid, because they're afraid of what the downside might be. To that, I'd say the reality is the potential downside is very, very low, and there's a bigger downside by not participating. So thing number one is people just don't participate because they're afraid. Thing number two is that they hope that there is a one-size-fits-all thing and that they can just do this one thing and it's going to work. So I'm going to set up a blog on my company's website, and we're going to post about stuff, and sort of magically people are going to start showing up and finding it, and through the power of the internet, everything will be well. Well, you can't just sort of do it and hope that people show up. You've got to work at it. You've got to engage. You've got to go out, comment on other things, do things to try and sort of build your profile. You have to work at it a little bit. You can't just expect that is just going to happen. So that's thing number two. And then thing number three is sort of starting at something and then giving up too soon. So
right.
If you decide that you're going to do it, you say, here's what I'm going to try to achieve. I'm going to spend some time against it. I'm going to try and figure it out. And these things do take time. See where you start to get a bit more leverage. Are you getting more people starting to follow you on Twitter? Are you getting more feedback from people
right.
in Facebook? Is your blog becoming more popular? Are you seeing things that are working? Yep. Spend more time on those. If you do find that either it's not working or it's not working for you or it doesn't feel right or whatever, you reach the point that you're just not going to do it, I'd also really suggest don't just let it die.
Right.
If you're not going to do it anymore, then take it down. If you're not going to have a company Facebook page anymore, then get rid of it, because it's actually worse to have a company Facebook page up there that hasn't had any action on it for a long period of time than not having one at all.
Right. What's interesting on that, one of the things that you've talked about really relates to content marketing and engaging your customers.
Yeah.
And one of the success factors that you have that's very important for, I think, a lot of companies to understand is it's better to have your customers talking about you and celebrating their success as a means of maybe subtly promoting your brand. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that means and what companies can think about when they engage their customers and their communities?
Yeah, it's content marketing is sort of in some ways a new term, but the idea isn't new. Content marketing is basically doing things that are remarkable, interesting, useful, that are very sort of well targeted to a specific audience, so that they're going to talk about it. It's going to score highly on search engines, whatnot, and people are going to come and really find the information that you're sharing with them to be very, very useful. And you could. Ultimately, if you do it well enough, they're going to say thank you. Like it doesn't feel like it's being like it's promotion, because it's not. It is kind of promotion, but it's mostly about trying to help people and be useful and entertaining and those sorts of things. Another key way to sort of be useful and entertaining and not be overly promotional is letting other people speak for you, right? And so rather than an email that you would send out, if you have an email list of however many people it happens to be, email is great. You should absolutely do email newsletters. They're still the gift that keeps on giving. You should certainly do one. But rather than sort of sending something out that says, hey, we're awesome, or want to buy this thing, or we've got this, or we've done that, or whatnot, it's much more powerful to be able to sort of highlight what somebody else has been able to accomplish, and maybe they've been able to accomplish it because of what your product does.
Right.
But basically, it's a lovely sort of way of both acknowledging somebody else's success and being able to sort of demonstrate that you've got a product that has good value, but is sort of less on the nose salesy for people that they're gonna just sort of turn off and not want to hear about it.
Right.
People love to hear success stories, and they love to hear people that are doing interesting things and businesses that are succeeding. And so much the better if the businesses that are succeeding or the people that are succeeding just happen to be your customer.
Right.
And aren't they also going to be happy for the fact that you've given them that exposure?
Right, right. Stuart, great insight. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Don.